name is Mohammed Afzal and I'm part of Cisco UCS Solution Group. Today I'm going to demo how to automate Cisco UCS. Actually, based on our UCSO deployment guide, the steps has been outlined and this deployment guide has been automated through the PowerShell. So the script actually is using an Excel spreadsheet to provide parameters to configure Cisco UCS. So let's review the basics of what we have in the Excel spreadsheet. We have UCSM credential. I'm using Cisco UCS emulator to configure the UCS, and some of the variables that are generic enough to be changed. For example, what should be the uplink port, what should be the server port, and how do you want to set up your KVM management, pool information, MAC pool, UUID pool, and how you want to create the server pool for controller, compute, and storage. So as you can see that the controller is a 3-controller scenario, chassis 1, server 2, chassis 1, server 3, chassis 2, server 1, part of the controller, and 4 compute nodes, and the rack mount server for storage. What VLANs we needed, as I mentioned, it is totally based on UCSO deployment guide, which is already publicly available. Every steps that you are going to see in the deployment guide has been automated in this PowerShell script. This is IBMI credential, and there are some OSD related information for Ceph, what disk and what is the size of the disk separated by colon are going to be used for Ceph OSD, and what disk is going to be used for Ceph journal, and what is going to be the size of bootLUN, and what is the location of the chassis and blade for the director node. So these are mostly the information that actually varies on a site-to-site basis. Every customers have different set of VLANs, every different set of chassis requirement, different set of MAC address maybe, and of course the credentials. So this is a very generic script that can deploy UCSO in a multiple scenarios. So let's review the UCS situation right now. As you can see, this is the emulator, which is completely blank right now. In this chassis, we have 4 server on each, 8 server on each chassis in the emulator, but in the real UCSO deployment, we actually had 4 servers per chassis, and they're rack mount servers. There are 4 rack mount server, although 3 will be used only based on the requirements that we had in UCSO deployment. And you can see the fixed module, and you can see the MAC addresses, and you can see of the uplink port, nothing is configured. If you go to the server tab, you can see that there is nothing with respect to service profile. There is no boot policy. All of this will start showing up as soon as we run the script, and you can see there is no VLANs, there is no port channel, so it's pretty much blank. Just like you just do the basic configuration after rack and stack and cabling, and do the basic first stage deployment where you assign the IP address, and then you were able to get into it and able to perform some configuration. So there is no storage configuration as of today, and let's kick in the script and see how it works. That's my PowerShell console, and that's the script that I'm going to run. And you can see that when it's run, these are basic information. It prints what it does, the same information that I have just mentioned. It just automates the steps outlined in UCSO deployment guide, and then it starts reading the Excel spreadsheet. So currently it's reading the Excel spreadsheet, as you can see that. So the best part about this, if you are setting up a different cloud, you can just simply add another tab and copy and paste the same information in that tab, and then you can see it in the drop down here. So right now I'm going to configure SJC OpenStack Cloud, for example. So I just click that. So as you keep adding tabs, it's going to start adding that information in this drop down, so you can have a different set of deployment for different site, and you can use that particular tab. So if I click that, and let me bring that screen also at the back so that you can see, because it prints every single step and also create a log file so that you can see what exactly the script is doing at certain point in time. So let's click configure UCS. Now you can see that is actually reading the Excel file at this moment, and it's reading, you know, what server port you have put in. As you can see, I put in, 1 to 11 and 17 and 18 for uplink, and it's, you know, grabbing all these information about KVM management, the MAC pool, the UUID pool, and the VLAN and everything. After it is all done, it's try to connect to UCSM. As you can see, it's connecting. After it is connected, then it start, you know, deploying. So you can see that now it's configuring things, and let's go back to the Fabric Interconnect UCS manager and start seeing, you know, things are happening behind the scene. As you can see that server port starts to come in, and network port has already been configured. As you can see that, you know, all of these ports have been configured, and if it's currently at the VLAN stage. So if we go here, we can see that, you know, port channel has already been configured with the ports in it, and VLANs are already there, which was not there. It's configuring storage profile. So let's quickly go and see their disk group policies has been configured, and the storage profile has been configured, and the Ceph storage profile has been configured, and of course there will be more LUNs will be added later on for Ceph. And now if we go into the LAN tab, you can see that VNIC template has been configured. Here we go. Now we go to the service profile. I mean, it's actually moving pretty fast. So the even faster than I'm navigating things, and you can see that, you know, the service profile, which was empty before, and now it's all there. It's completed. So you can cancel that script and you can review the, you know, the servers are getting into some config and config failure. Of course, is the C servers that I have. It's because of the not having the OSD LUNs in it, so it will complain on that. The reason is there's not enough disk for configuring that many LUNs for OSD, so it's gonna complain on, you know, not enough resources. So the rest of them are going to be configured and associated automatically by utilizing the server pools. As you can see, the server pools. So the server pool has been utilized for controller server pool, and you can see that, you know, they're all assigned to the policy that we have specified to the server, like server 2.1, chassis 2 server 1, chassis 1 server 3, and chassis 1 server 2, as mentioned in our spreadsheet here, as you can see that. So if you go to the service profile, you know, like I said, you know, compute and controller director are configured, and this is in config failure because of lack of resources. So this is all configured, and let's go to this. You can see that, you know, it printed every single information that we needed, every single information, and also what step it was configuring. It was actually moving pretty fast. Then we were not able to correspond with you know, what is exactly going on in UCSM. And pretty much it shows the whole script is completed in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. The entire UCSM related deployment, and it also creates a log file in case if you need to go, you want to see the log file. So you can see this is the log file they created today's time. Click on it. It's pretty much the same information inside with respect to the log file that it's going to create for you. So this is the information that it creates for the log file. If you know, modify and you open the latest file, which is 3/28/129 p.m. This is the log file it has just created for us. So you can go back and see, you know, where the script has failed. You can go back to UCSM and verify. And the script is actually pretty smart in terms of, like, you can rerun it. It actually checks, you know, what has been already configured and ignore those steps. And if it's necessary, it actually deletes certain things and recreates certain things. The reason of deleting and recreating, let's say you want to rerun the script by making some changes here. You want to change the size of the pool, you want to change the MAC address information, so you can do so. Or you can even change the assignment of the servers, so that actually allows you to make certain changes, and it go back and delete the pool information and then recreate it. So some of the information are recreated, some of the information are just checked whether it has been already configured and ignored it. So smart enough to get that kind of information. So that's pretty much it for the script perspective. And thank you for watching this video. And I would love to see you guys use this, and you can relate this to the deployment guide that we have already published from UCSO, and match the configuration that it has exactly configured the way it has been outlined in the deployment guide. Thank you for watching. Bye now.